you guys, it's Amanda with Healthy House on the Block, and I'm here with another weekly video and tip on creating an indoor space that truly supports your health and wellness. This week we're going to talk about wallpaper. It is kind of making a comeback and I love it. I've been in a few homes that have beautiful, tasteful wallpaper on multiple walls, and it looks amazing. It's a really great way to spruce up a room, do a home project inexpensively to change the look of your room, but it's also a project that you can do in a very low toxin way. And that's exactly what we're going to talk about today. I'm going to walk you through a lot of the toxins that are found in typical wallpapers. These are going to be the wallpapers that you'll probably find at big box stores. And so we're also going to talk about how to shop for wallpaper. Where do you look? What do you look for? I'm going to give you all of the information that you need. And then I'm also going to give you my favorite picks for wallpaper brands that are going to be low toxin and toxin free. So one word about this type of project is you're going to have to choose if you want to go low toxin or toxin free. And really the biggest difference is going to be the price point. I think this is true with all kinds of projects around our house, and I truly believe that you can do a low toxin project and not even be 100% toxin free, and it's a great improvement to your space. Don't get hung up on being 100% toxin free when you can still make a positive change to go low toxin instead. So I made some slides for you guys. We're going to go through those. It's going to give you all of the information in this week's blog post. If you would rather read the blog post, you can head over. I have the link in the video description. Otherwise, let's get started and we'll learn about wallpaper. I'm sure you are already aware of just how far wallpaper has come over the last several decades. And I'm sure we can all remember our home or someone else's home from growing up that had just so much wallpaper. From birds to flowers to themed rooms. Where are all my 80s and 90s kids at? Because I remember it. And as with anything, you know that these trends usually come full circle. And so here we are again, ready to embrace wallpaper one more time. But this time, knowing more about our health and wellness and knowing more about healthy products, let's aim for non-toxic wallpaper to spruce up our walls. So I'll admit I was very unsure about wallpaper coming back, but after I saw a few of my clients' homes with beautiful patterns and tasteful peel and stick wallpaper on just one wall of a room, I kind of fell in love with it. And as with anything I bring into my house now, I know that I get to be the gatekeeper and I get to decide if this is something that fits my family's healthy lifestyle or not. I love that we all get to make the decision for our own homes moving forward. So you might be starting in a spot with a more toxic home than others, or maybe you've been able to reduce a lot of toxins in a typical home already. Either way, moving forward is what counts. Any purchase you make or building material you bring inside is something that you get the final say on. So while you might be like me, itching to do just one wallpapered wall, you might also be like me and wanting to make sure that you're really choosing the right non-toxic wallpaper. So I'm so excited to share with you everything that I know about wallpaper this time around and how you can find your own non-toxic wallpaper options or even alternatives to wallpaper if you like the look but you're just not up for the actual wallpaper. So first we're going to talk about the toxins in wallpaper. This is where I like to start quite often, if you've noticed, and there's a reason for it. Once we understand what's in it, it's a lot easier to make the decision to go toxin free. So wallpaper has quite a few different toxin potentials due to not only the adhesive but the paper that needs to be super durable as well. The first is VOCs. Many adhesives used in wallpaper can contain VOCs as well as the inks that are used. You can find both low VOC and zero VOC options in wallpaper depending on what level of healthy wallpaper you're looking for. Now, VOCs, including formaldehyde, are dangerous in our homes because they often have no place to escape. And the buildup of VOC toxins inside will negatively affect the health of anyone living in that space. When we think about the sheer surface area of wallpaper, it can have a huge impact on the health of your space over time. Most wallpaper has a top layer that is made of PVC or vinyl to make it extra durable. This coating contains plasticizers, which isn't going to be measured as a VOC, and it's also not going to be regulated by the Green Guard Gold certification. This is why it's important to find a brand that has a PVC product. It's probably safe to assume that a wallpaper product that does not claim to be PVC free could possibly contain this toxin. PVC, or polyvinyl chloride, is particularly harmful to kids, and so if you're considering thinking about wallpapering a nursery or a kid's space, it's definitely a component to consider. PVC is an endocrine disruptor and has been linked to childhood obesity, developmental delays, and an increased risk of cancer and abnormal reproductive development. Thankfully, most wallpapers don't contain flame retardants anymore, but it is still added to a few of them. While brominated flame retardants aren't generally used anymore, you do need to watch for the newer types of flame retardants, which, while they are a bit safer, it's not completely toxin free. So depending on if you're looking for a low toxin or completely toxin free wallpaper option, this is something you'll just want to be aware of. Flame retardants have a long list of health issues linked to them, including thyroid dysfunction, immune suppression, delays in childhood development, cancer, and even more that I can't list here. While I would generally worry about this slightly less than the flame retardants that are in surfaces you use for sitting or sleeping on, it's definitely still something you can avoid if you want. And finally, heavy metals. So special inks used in wallpapers have most commonly been made from a variety of heavy metals. The big culprits here are cadmium coming in first, followed by lead, mercury, and arsenic. Heavy metals are unique in the sense that they build up in the bloodstream, which means our body doesn't detoxify them quickly or efficiently when being constantly exposed. Heavy metals don't off-gas, and so the concern comes from both physical touch and small particles becoming airborne and inhaled. And the greatest concern for heavy metal exposure is with children due to their small size and the fact that their bodies don't detoxify these things out of their systems as quickly and efficiently as adults do. The risks are also great when it comes to children, as their brains are still developing, which is where heavy metals can negatively affect their growth. So the great thing is there are alternatives. With anything I teach or help with, there is always a healthier way. You just have to know what toxin-free options are when it comes to non-toxic wallpaper, and maybe even what some alternatives are instead of wallpaper. So with wallpaper, you can go with two different options when it comes to the kind of product that you want. You can opt for a peel and stick wallpaper or the good old-fashioned wallpaper you use with adhesive. I don't know if anybody's envisioning an I Love Lucy episode right now, but I am. So peel and stick wallpaper is definitely an easier option to do yourself, and you can probably DIY it no problem in your own house. Most of the non-toxic wallpapers are peel and stick, and they have a huge benefit in terms of VOCs. Most VOCs off-gas while a product is curing or drying, such as adhesive used with standard wallpaper, this problem is eliminated with peel and stick wallpaper. It is more expensive generally than standard wallpaper, which is something to consider, and you have to find a low toxin paper with a low toxin adhesive, which may not give you as many options or control over the product. So on the other hand, like we're talking about, the alternative standard wallpaper is going to be more difficult to hang and more difficult to work with. A lot of people will hire a professional to do this, and that's something to consider. There's also the adhesive issue. The adhesive must dry. Now you can get toxin-free adhesives, which I'm going to share with you next, but it's something to consider that it still has to cure and dry. It's definitely more cost effective because you're buying the components separately and it's not as convenient. It's going to be less expensive. but you definitely have more control over your project if you're going to use a standard wallpaper with wallpaper adhesive. There are a few great options for non-stick wallpaper adhesive that you can use with different types of standard wallpapers so you can mix and match. Next, I'm going to show you some of those adhesives. They're linked in the blog so you can find where to buy them. So obviously, if you choose to forego wallpaper, there is also an option of stenciling a design on your wall to make it appear like wallpaper. Honestly, I think this is a great option, but it's extremely tedious. And if you have time and you can easily find non-toxic paint and a stencil design that you want, you can make up a really cool wall without even using wallpaper. So let's talk about how to shop for wallpaper. We're going to go through 4 ways. So first is certifications. There are a few certifications that apply to non-toxic wallpapers, one of them being the Green Guard Gold certification. Now, just a word of warning that sometimes one element of the wallpaper is certified and not necessarily the entire wallpaper product. So you'll need to research and look at what you're buying. Oftentimes, Green Guard Gold is for things like ink and adhesive and does not take into consideration the PVC toxins that might be on the paper itself. There are other third-party tests and certifications that exist that aren't as well known, and this is basically telling you that the product has been reviewed by another unbiased third party and certified that it may not use a particular toxin or chemical. An example of this would be like the Nordic Swan Environmental Standard or the FSC certification. You can also avoid big box stores. Unfortunately, you probably won't have too much luck finding non-toxic wallpaper in a big box store because most of the wallpaper companies who care about health and toxins are just generally smaller than those in hardware stores. So plan to do a lot of your wallpaper shopping online from small companies or from online stores that specialize in non-toxic products for your home. You can also use a list. I'm going to share with you a list on the blog this week of wallpaper companies that are low toxin and toxin free. This is a great way to start. It doesn't mean that it's the only list of non-toxic wallpapers you should use. There are other great resources online that will link you to healthy and safe wallpaper companies and options. With the number of designs that so many companies have, hopefully you'll be able to find a pattern or wallpaper that you really like without having to search too far. And then you'll need to decide, are you going to go low toxin or toxin free? I say this in so many of my posts and videos, but sometimes you might decide that a low toxin change is the way you and your family want to go. And that is 100% okay. And I'm being completely serious. We've made plenty of low toxin swaps as opposed to toxin free, and we'll continue to do that for the future in my own home. The truth is, we don't have an unlimited budget, and we feel pretty good knowing that we're at least making a healthy improvement to our house rather than leaving it as is. Stress is also something that we want to avoid. If you're having anxiety about choosing the least toxic option and you just can't, then there's something that we need to take care of there because you don't want to have that anxiety and stress hanging over you. So that being said, there are a lot of options for both in this non-toxic wallpaper space. And I think the biggest difference is really going to be price. So on the blog this week, I am sharing 11 toxin-free wallpaper brands that I'm linking you to. They are low toxin and toxin free. They're all great options. And while I know that wallpaper may not be for everyone, it definitely is something I've wanted to try in a few of the small spaces in my own home. And I love being able to find toxin free options for my home projects as we work on our house little by little. It's a great way to make sure that the indoor space really supports your health and wellness instead of burdening your body down. So if you'd like any of those links to the wallpaper brands that I have or any additional information on the toxins that I shared, you can head over to my blog post. The link is at the end of my video description. Thank you as always for being here. I love sharing all of this information with you guys. I love being able to give you ideas to make your home a little less toxic when it comes to building materials and home projects. If you have any questions, feel free to email me. I would love it if you would subscribe to my channel because I do these videos every single week, and I will be back next week with another healthy house tip on creating an indoor space that truly supports your health and wellness.